Let's go. Welcome to the Scott Outpost Investigators Podcast. I'm your host, Softy Mage, and we got a special host of podcasters here today with our guest being R2.
Yo, I've come to take over another podcast. This one's also mine now. It is the R2 Investigators Podcast. Welcome. Wait, why are you investigating me? Hold on. I should have thought about that first.
You are under investigation, my friend. For your crimes in Endgame.
Oh no. Anyhow.
And then we also have Savadra.
Hello there.
So today we're going to be talking about Shiyu Defense season. We're now going to call it season 40, other than season 3, because that's how Hayukishin labels it as season 40. And then we'll go over a little bit of season 23 of Deadly Assault, and then our
28.
off-topic, or 28. Oh my goodness, I'm misreading my whole thing. Then we'll go on off-topic being the gift agents of Haramasa and Zhao. So, what do you guys think about Shiyu Defense Season 40? We'll start with R2.
Want to go first, R2? Yep.
Sure. I mean, it's a bit annoying. I don't think it's the worst ever, though. Right now I have like 130k into the Shiyu, but that was kind of a pain in the ass. I think the main issue is the first two stages. For some reason, they have an obsession with miasmic enemies in this mode, like every single time. There's one exception, which is the current stage 3, out of the entire time the Shiyu has been up. But dude, miasmic Jane is so fucking buggy. Kind of same for Isolde, but for different reasons. They move so much, they fall out of attacks, they just run away, and they have like 1 or 2 parryable attacks. So it's just a pain in the ass to do anything. Like, unless you're playing Yoshun Guang or I don't know, Mono Fizz, it's a pain in the ass. I hate it.
I think
if you don't have
Jane.
huge AoE or general agility in your agents, it's definitely a noticeable problem.
Yeah. And then in stage 3, I think it's fine. I mean, Hugo is a little bit annoying sometimes, but this is the regular Hugo variant, not the Miasma version. Which we haven't had in Shiyu for a while, I think. He's pretty cool. His stage buff is also pretty strong, so for like Evelyn or Soldier, it's like you can get some crazy scores. But man, Jane is so bad. I think I've been playing a lot of Miyabi Yanagi into it, and Yanagi's ultimate has like a 5% chance of actually hitting. It's so bad. I hate it.
Also, like, Jane has she can't be hit with like super heavy attacks very often for too long because she'll jump out of it. So usually if you're like doing half like an attack or two before using Yanagi's ult, she'll just always jump out of Yanagi's ult.
I have an inverse effect where she actually gets hit by all of it a little too good to where she starts levitating. Like, I need to get a clip of this, but when I'm doing the EBA combo, whatever, I'm staggering Jane so much. Like, she can't move, she's completely like immobilized. But you get staggered slightly higher with every hit. And if I do like an EBA 3 into Yanagi ult, which is the rotation, she starts going higher and higher and higher. She's just literally levitating until she's so high up that she can't get hit by the ultimate anymore, and then the last hit misses. So I don't get polarity disorder, I don't get shock, and it's like, okay, fuck you. And it's consistent every single time almost. It's so bad.
Fascinating. Can't say I've run into that problem.
Nope.
Yeah, that's great.
I have overall felt the Shiyu was okay as a non-Yoshun Guang. However, I feel the pain of having to use Corrin on Isolde, but I've used Corrin on Isolde, and it's not been as terrible as I thought it would be. Mostly because half of my field time is fielding Dial-In instead, but you know, it is what it is. Use Haramasa, yeah. That's
48.
Not a surprise. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good for this whole week or whole week. Enemy resistant being electric resistant.
It's not any of the actual like boss enemies are resistant. It's the resistance is just there for the small enemies, but for some reason they all have a single elite enemy that is physical resistant. Two of them being the Dullahan, the energized Dullahan, and then the third one being the Wicked Wraith. But-
Frenzied Maniac is also electric resistant, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that is true.
It's basically just all the first waves with some exceptions. It's not that big a deal, but it is annoying.
But yeah,
makes
I
sense.
used Corrin into Isolde, and then I did pull Alice for the Alice rerun.
No way.
I liked Alice. I wanted Alice's rerun, and it's that cheap rerun, so the guarantee is like half the normal costs on like opportunity if you were to lose the 50-50. So I had enough pulls to get it, and then I used the monophysical Alice Jane Yuzuha on the Miasmic Jane, and that was a very fun time, and Jane definitely didn't jump out of my Alice basic 3s or the enhanced basics very often. Not at all. And then for the third stage, I actually did use Soldier. Because I have been using the buffed Soldier a lot, as I mentioned in the last episode. She's been very fun to play.
She's really good now. I benched my Bonway.
Hell no!
Dude, I played Bonway for like 3 days, and it's just like, yeah, Buff Soldier is better. Not better, but like more fun.
Interesting. I've yet to play buff soldier, but then again, I have not really built my soldier yet on my account, so
Yeah, she's pretty good now.
Yeah.
I like her.
I do also like, now that I've played it with more recency, like, to, what's the word? To compare against, between the Miasmic Hugo and the normal Hugo, I have to say I do like the normal Hugo a lot. It's like, I think it's just me being partially a casual player, but like, he does the thing, the slowdown animation a lot more often than the Miasmic variant does.
Mhm.
And it's like, without the incentive to actually parry through all of it, I think it's more optimal in most situations to skip it with like an ultimate. And it's like, it happens so fast, like the fight just kind of goes so fast, and it's like, I don't know, I think it's fun. I really like doppelgangers in general, just like their design and like combat flow. They just feel fast and aggressive, so I really like this Shiyu overall.
yeah. Hugo, the fact that he doesn't go to Miasma, I've been able to stun him more often.
Yeah, and even if you do, like, because of how much more often he ends up doing the slow down parry phase, you end up just getting a lot more of that days for doing all of the parries.
Right.
So, yeah.
I will say though, I think Miasma Hugo is one of the only good Miasma enemies because his Miasma gets like nuked by that exact minigame. Whereas Miasma Jane stays in the Miasma phase for 5 years because she has nothing to break through it. And she gives you like no parries. So I think regular Hugo is still better, but out of the Miasma enemies, I think he's one of the better ones for sure.
How did you fare with the Shiyu Softy?
So I want to say it. I did Yasin Guan against the first one, and I got 40k, which is like one of my higher scores since we've gotten the new Shiyu scoring system. And then the other ones were around 30k, Miyabi, and then Evelyn. I just couldn't use Evelyn with Astra yet because I used Astra with Yasin Guang. So it's still,
I see. That's pretty good, though.
yeah.
Kind of ballin'.
I did get the S+, but I have not made attempts to super optimize my score beyond the Alice Jane Yuzuha into Miasmic Jane.
Honestly,
Just because
don't.
I have liked playing Alice and Jane together. I've wanted to do that for a while since Alice's first run. Like, I wouldn't have like the M2s for making the team destroy everything, but it's still an extremely fun team at M0.
Yeah, I know one of my friends likes it, full M0, so it's definitely a real team.
And yeah, I haven't tried a whole bunch of other stuff yet. I've been kind of occupied with more DA things because there's a bunch of like small side tournaments that have been happening for like various people, and most of them have been focused around this current DA season. So I haven't played Shiyu as much to experiment things. But I got my 100k, my S plus, and it was a decently chill time.
Do we want to go into the fact that I feel like Shiyu has gotten a lot longer to play since the scoring system, or does that not you guys easily get the 100 and 100k score?
I think
100k is optional.
I think like 100k, yeah, being optional is one thing. The other thing is like with the rooms only being the first two, like a single room and still having the like 2.5 minutes type of deal for everything to have a multiplier applied to it. It's not longer. I think it's actually a fair bit shorter overall to play like 5, 6, and 7, like rooms 5, 6, and 7 from the old format compared to now, where you're just playing 3.5-minute long rooms. Like there's definitely time save that's like from the optimal way to play old Shiyu versus new Shiyu, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you're really shooting for
person.
If you're shooting for the S rank, I think it's shorter. But S plus rank, I had to spend an extra 10-15 minutes to actually get the scores I needed. So.
Okay, if you're talking about like resets to get the scores, I can't say for sure because I spend a lot of time on both of them. So I play the game a lot. I can't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, resets is like a person by case basis. I think if you're speaking just strictly clearing though, I mean, it kind of depends. Like with an old Chi, you can kind of just have 2 teams and go next. Like you finish a stage, you go next, you keep going next. You can knock it out pretty quickly, but if you're a player doing this new Shiyu and you're not super familiar with your builds or in general what teams you want to bring into which fight, you might spend more time just thinking what the hell you want to play before you even play it, so it'll end up being about the same, despite technically being less content. That's not something that we really run into, probably, because we've been playing the game for a while, we know what we have, we know what builds we have, so we just kind of can go in with whatever we need, but not everyone is like that. So I think for a player that would normally just breeze through Shiyu with 2 teams, having to think about their options now is going to take them a lot longer, even if gameplay-wise it's not actually that different.
I could see that. It reminds me of like when Threshold first came out.
Yes.
It was like, and I mentioned this in the episode we did for that too. If you want to go back and watch that, it's gonna change soon. But yeah, my experience with Threshold when it came out for the first time was like I had to spend like 15 minutes in the menu, like looking at all my builds, be like, okay, do I have the things that I need in order to put on all of my agents? And even if I had to share or not, it's like when you're playing the stages that require 5 teams, it takes like so much pre-planning that it's like you're spending more of your time in the menu than in the actual fight, unless you're like grinding. But at that point, you've already got all your like stuff sorted out. So yeah, I could definitely see how that would apply to most of the casual player base.
In Threshold, though, you can't share builds, so you spend a lot of time just building.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Yeah, I bring this up a lot. Like, I'm someone that can build gear characters in like 10 seconds per character because I'm like practiced at it. But the average person is taking like 3 minutes per character build. It's so much time spent in Threshold. If you don't share discs on everyone, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I make sure to have a disc set for each character, and I don't really like to switch unless I have to.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that. Because it's annoying to build a bunch of characters over and over again. I just kind of practice to do it. It's not ideal.
You have fun with that, though, from your videos.
With like the build sharing, or
different builds for your Harumasa or for your...
Oh yeah, it's almost like a collection at this point.
Yeah,
so many horror builds.
I love having build variety like that. I just have like I don't know, like almost 500 level 15 discs just of various sets just to kind of toss around and like play with other things.
Only have 300 now. That's crazy.
Wonder how much I have now.
We're all checking like, I think first
Yeah,
was
it's
actually pretty fun though. I don't know if
big
you saw,
number.
but a few days ago I was playing. I got so tired of RNG because I hate RNG and like resetting. It's so bad, especially on the Isolde bosses. Like all three of them, Isolde and then Defiler and Priests. The RNG is so bad that I said, fuck it, I'm gonna fight Bringer, because I know a route for Bringer that's really hard, but it has no RNG. So I killed Bringer without spawning hands 12 times in a row on Threshold.
I did see that video, and I did watch that video. I did not comment, but I watched it.
Yeah,
I will.
I think it's fun. I mean, it can be fun if they put the right stuff in there.
I have to cue that video up.
It's
I saw it, and I'm just
R2 vibes.
I saw
watch
it,
the
but
fifth one. Fifth one's the best one.
It's good R2 vibes to just put in the background and listen to. You will get frozen over and over, Bringer. You will like it.
Burn disorder.
yeah.
But yeah, anything else of major note to talk about? Oh yeah, the buffs, the room buffs, I guess, for the Shiyu.
Yeah. Do you think it's
I did
really
mention,
chilled?
like,
or
I did mention last episode when like the format's still fresh, but the pattern is in fact emerging, where it's like each room is going to have strict benefit for like one particular agent, maybe one or two, depending on like how versatile it is. Like I think this room 2 benefits both Soldier and Evelyn quite a bit. Or yeah, room 3, and then room 2 is also like kind of meant for
like
Alice and Miyabi, but pretty anomaly generalized. Just because damage percent isn't that much, but room 1 is very much the you will use Ye Shengguang and Zhao together, and you will like it, or you will suffer.
Yeah. I could have used the stage buff because I have M6 Zhao, I can play Zhao with Harumasa. That's how I got to close to 50k. But this buff is like insane. I'm even missing part of the buff, the 10% res ignore on physical. Like, okay.
Yeah.
That's just there. Like, that's literally just there. What the fuck?
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Like, it is good overall. Like, that res ignore or res shred being global and, like, not conditional. Because the first part of the room buff for room 1 is Ether Veil, and then the second part is unconditional. So, like, that second part being there does make it good for using Corrin, Billy, Neko, if you wish. There's also the physical anomalies, but you just don't get the... Actually, if you have Ether Veil and you use Zhao with an anomaly anyway, then you still get the attacking increase, which is pretty good.
If you do that, though, then you're removing Yuza from the team, which is going to lose you more damage than the stage buff, so it's kind of like, eh. But yeah, you can't do it.
It's also true. It's just an option.
Yeah.
For people who maybe don't have Yuzaha.
True.
It is.
I forget that people didn't pull the best character in the game. Which I can both now. I guess Dialect's better now, but you know.
But yeah. Second stage is, again, pretty generalized for Anomaly overall, but seems to be suited pretty well to playing, I would assume, Alice, because she's on rerun, but...
Yep.
Is also if you can do pretty fast disorders and like within 10 seconds, which is the normal length for most, actually every anomaly anyway, then you're getting the full uptime of this buff regardless. So it's not technically an Alice shill, it's just the physical damage is there and she can use that. The ice damage is also there and Miyabi can use that.
I've seen some pretty crazy Miyabi Piper runs, like 45k, I think. It was like 43k. I've seen some good runs with Miyabi Piper, which are kind of funny. I would never play that, though. But I've seen them.
I tried it a fair bit a long time ago, and it was not miserable, but it was not the most comfortable experience I've ever had playing this game.
I can imagine.
It's definitely something. I think I'm a lot better, and I could probably try it again at some point. But it is definitely something. And yeah, then the third room is fire damage, and then unconditional basic attack and chain attack damage, and crit damage, which is second part's overall pretty good for like if you use Seed, she gets pretty good basic attack damage increase and crit damage. But yeah, people might be scared off by the electric res, which need I remind you is not on the big boss, it's just on the small guys. But otherwise, yeah, this is pretty much for Evelyn and Soldier 11 because of that's their primary mode of attack and also the fire damage. So that is the trend that we're seeing with Shiyu overall, and it seems like that is going to continue. And I'm interested to see because like with the way that like crit agents are mostly based on which skill they use the most, and I think this is probably also somewhat true for anomalies, but with crit agents being pretty much like skill like dependent, it's kind of easy to make those buff distinctions. But when we get back into the upcoming like patch, which is seeming to be like anomaly focused given the drip marketing and redacted information, we might see a slight difference in how these buff descriptions go for anomaly agents if they're going to do like you have one stage that favors Arya and Sana Chinatsu versus having a stage that benefits maybe having Yuzuha or Jane or some other anomaly agent that basically is not the that is not the characters on banner.
So you're saying they'll just make like really specific shields because fuck you, I guess.
It is like I don't think it's like as bad as it could be, but it's definitely trending in that direction, and that's just an observation I wanted to make.
Yeah, I think overall this Shiyu does seem a little bit skewed towards particular agents. Hopefully you have those agents on your account, but it's not unclearable without them.
Yeah, it seems pretty decent overall, just with those traits being present. If it's like an initial thing right now where it maybe seems not so bad, and then over time people are gonna look at it and be like, hey, this is kind of getting a little worse, and then it gets a little worse over more time. It's like the kind of thing where I had like in 2.3 I had that big old crash out with Pinnacle and EA buffs, and it was like Pinnacle was Lucia Banner,
right?
But yeah, like in taking observation of like how buffs have evolved over time with Deadly Assault, and during that crash out, it's like highly probable that there's going to be another situation where that arises, and so it's good to just take note of it for now and come back and maybe think about it again in 6 months or like 8 months and see how much better or worse it's gotten.
Yep.
Everything else we want to say about this Shiyu?
Not really. Killing Soldier.
I don't have
every version of it. All three of them. All terrible.
Okay.
4, actually, just 4. All 4.
There's 4.
There's regular Doppelganger, I guess Doppelganger Miasmic, and then you have Priest and Defiler. That's 5, never mind. All 5 of them.
Not Priest being my favorite DA boss.
That's insane.
That's
insane.
It's okay.
Alright, before we go to Deadly Assault, a word from our sponsor.
Today, we have a special sponsor for our dear guest, R2 Von Lycon. This episode is sponsored by the Beaverson Beauty Salon at Lumina Square. Our barbershop specializes on the hair and fur of all kinds of Thyrans, but also welcomes our human customers. We treat everything from simple knot treatment to larger hollow corruption, skin, or hair repair. After all, in regards to Thyrans, your precious fur is the first thing to be affected getting dry or becoming brittle at the hair ends. We know the importance of smooth, wavy, fluffy fur, as it is our pride during our regular everyday life. Now, we're here to offer 2 new treatment options for your fur care. We have high importance urgency service and premium deluxe fur luxury. You can like and subscribe to the Scott Outpost Investigators podcast today, and you will receive one of each treatment service for 80% off. One time only. Terms and services apply. Limited use of the urgency service per customer treatment, or the booking reservation time for the deluxe service are time sensitive. Mr. R2 Von Lycon, as one of the most important long-term customers to Beaverson Beauty Salon, we sincerely offer you these 2 treatments for free. And we hope to see you again very soon. Thank you to Beaverson Beauty Salon for sponsoring this video.
Yo, why you got hollow corrupted skincare in a barbershop? Who wrote this?
Life is dangerous, man. You go into hollows, you never know what's gonna happen.
The hospital like a block over. What are we doing?
I don't think we've seen a hospital in New Eridu.
There's probably
be real.
But no, there's isn't there one right next to the police? Or is that just a big building? I don't know.
There's like a pharmacy.
I guess.
I don't know if that's the same as a hospital.
I mean, they have doctors working in pharmacies, that's like the whole point. They're not there the whole day, but that's... Anyway.
Anyway, so you gotta get creative and
so you get fucked up by the hollow, you come back and it's like, you know what? I think my barber's got me there.
Yeah. The life of a Thyran's kind of difficult,
Or do they have like anti-Thyran propaganda in the hospitals? Is that what it's about?
I don't know about all that. We can move on from this. So.
Yeah. Let's go to Deadly Assault Season 28. What do you guys think of the Defiler, the Marionette, and the Miasmic Priest this time around?
Police Holder.
Well, having just mentioned that Priest is my favorite boss, I think I like this cycle a lot overall. I was a lot more hopeful that I would be able to score higher with Haramasa now that I have Dial In, and I was really looking forward to playing Defiler with Haramasa Dial In. I think I suck, or I haven't built Haramasa completely properly.
What did you get?
And
25?
It was like a 26. And it was with M0, P3, Brimstone, and Siglas Dial In and Nicole.
Okay, I mean, I guess Siglas Dial In's a bit difficult, but what's
that? Shadow Harmony.
Okay.
But it's I don't have fantastic hormone pieces, but I have not better Shadow Harmony pieces, I think. My puffer exists. I have been having a lot of problems adjusting to playing around puffer on Haramasa, which is kind of weird, but I think I just need more practice because it's been a fair amount of time since I've played Haramasa properly. But I do I'm looking into it. It was also bad enough that when I was going for high scores, I've only recently gone for a good high score clear because again I was doing a bunch of tournaments related to this Deadly Assault cycle. But when I started going for high score, I put the Alice in the bag, and I ended up getting 30k with Zhao and Astra, and I'm like, that's not right, I think. But maybe that's just Mutation being an extremely good buff, and that's the cope I'll live with.
Sure.
But yeah, Alice scores better on Defiler than my Haramasa, and it makes me slightly sad. But
that sounds normal, though, to be fair.
It is what it is. And then, Marionette's decent punching bag, except everyone hates the clones and RNG.
What do you define as a
And-
punching bag, actually? I'm curious.
Like, she does move around and also have the one unfreezable attack, but she's just like, you can get really good scores on her pretty easily with a good lot of the roster.
So just like a high-scoring boss is a punching bag. 'Cause I've seen many different definitions of that. Like, you ask another person, they'll tell me something completely different what a punching bag is in this game. I think it's something that could be interesting. It's gonna be its own podcast. You interview like 50 people. Okay, what does a punching bag mean in this game? You know, get enough to write a book?
I think like a distinction between being a punching bag like Typhon Destroyer, where it's like, it's very rhythmic and consistent, and like again also scores very high with much of the roster overall, versus a punching bag like, I don't know, Butcher. I don't think Butcher is as much of a punching bag because it's like you can use every anomaly on it pretty fine, but it's not a boss that's like good for more of the roster outside of anomaly. If that makes sense. So I don't consider that like punching bag caliber.
Yeah, if it's
Like Marionette's it does fit more into the former than the latter, in my opinion.
Yeah, Marionette, you can use a lot of teams against her compared to Butcher, and then the Typhoon Destroyer. It's like any team can defeat that one, so that's why I agree with the little punching bag. Like anybody can punch this bag.
But one, wait, who can't? See it?
Yeah, and then Priest is Priest and is a good boss, despite what R2 says.
Nah. This is not a good boss. I don't know how you think it is.
Listen, my Julia and you can 40k, and that's all I care about.
My Haruken 50 and I hate it.
Let's go back to Marionette. What did you mean by the clones? You didn't like the clones, Marionette?
I don't hate the clones. It's more so that like when you're playing Marionettes, the big problem with Marionette overall tends to be that like if your attacker doesn't have the hitbox on their attacks or otherwise the AoE to like murder the clones while you're focusing on doing like things that you're doing to the main boss, whether that be just general damage or anomaly, it's kind of a rough time, and it's noticeable because the stun windows are considerably shorter without killing clones. And like I've been playing mostly Yuzu Ice into the Marionettes as per like I was able to squeeze out doing so for the tournaments that I mentioned prior. But I've also been playing a little bit of other agents from the range of Yidhari and Banyue to Hyper, and there was one more, but I like fell off of that experiment relative. Oh yeah, Korin. I did also like pull out the Korin, and like the difference in ability to kill clones between like, I mean this is kind of an unfair comparison because S rank to A rank, but Korin has a lot more problems killing clones than Yidhari does, for example. And while that shouldn't come as a surprise, it's very much a thing where it's like, yeah, that's a difference that you have to consider when playing different agents into said boss. I had more problems than I was expecting to have with clones on Banyue, but I think that was just me and poor timing with my like EXs overall, because I think he has good AoE. I'm just like
really,
not.
honestly. I think that's a fair complaint.
And then like when playing any non like Miyabi anomaly team, the clones are also like a bit of a problem. I mostly have to kill them with like Bernice if I'm not playing Miyabi, or otherwise like I just don't kill the clones. Like I tried like Piper Vivian, and actually that shit is not killing the clones.
EBA one-shots them. I guess like outside of EBAs, it's kind of hard to kill them, though. Like that is true because they Miyabi targeting is weird, but if you do an EBA, they basically just insta-die. At least from my experience.
But yeah. Like, the clones are definitely very particular in that regard.
Ah, they suck.
I get what you mean now. I guess I'm so used to doing Miyabi or wide AoE character against the Marionette that I don't really notice it that much.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. And for being one of the first bosses that they released in Deadly Assault, like when the mode verse came out, it's pretty obvious. Most people will use an agent of Miyabi's caliber or a high AoE agent, because all of the ice agents, all the ice DPSs, have pretty good AoE, unless you're using like Sokaku, I guess. But even with that, like, the facilities are there for, like, you know, if your DPS doesn't have good AoE, then you're likely bringing a support that does, and like Nicole is a good example as well. Like, she's she does good damage, and like, if you're not sure of like what to use when the invincible phase comes out and you're like trying to dodge counter all the clones but you're not getting it, maybe consider using your support on field a bit more. It's a surprising difference. Also, on an unrelated note, there's been tech that's been, I guess, discovered. I don't know if this has been a thing since like, I don't know if this was a thing from the last time Marionette was on Cycle, but apparently Yuzuha can cancel the Marionette invulnerable phase.
Yep.
I did not know this until 3 days ago.
Really? Actually did it on stream like a few months ago. Or sorry, a month ago-ish.
I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, that's the thing you can do. Get a character.
Yeah, apparently her umbrella block, kind of like how you would use it in the Fiend for like draining the miasma shield a bit more during like the dagger phase. Apparently just the umbrella block also can cancel the invulnerable phase, and like you just get more time out of not having to kill 5 clones. That does come at a like risk, but if you're playing Yuzuha's best teams, you're probably not running into clone killing problems anyway, so you're still getting the full time on stun. But yeah, that's a thing that I learned about a couple days ago. Nice. It's kind of it's a really weird difference to get used to, but it's an interesting difference.
I'll have to find the video and maybe link it in the comments, because like I said, I've never seen it before.
I can show you where I found it from.
Yeah, if you could just share me the link, that'd be great.
Yeah, about a month ago, I played Lycon DPS with, I think, Dial and Yuzuha in Threshold. I played against the Marionette on Threshold. And using the phase skip, I got a 7 stuns with DPS Lycon. It scored like shit, because, you know, I mean, playing fast doesn't always equal better scores because this game sucks, but like, it was very fun. Yeah, it's been around since the last time Mario was here. There was like some clips, but it was mostly niche at the time. Like, no one really thought or really figured out a way to make it useful. And I guess now like the clips have spread around more and more people know about it. But yeah, it's been around for a little bit.
Yeah, I would imagine it's been around since like at least Yuzuha's release, if not the first time that you could play Marionettes with Yuzuha. But I think that would have been like that patch, because that was like the 2.2 was when Threshold was introduced, right? Or was that 2.3?
I don't remember, to be honest.
It was
one of those two.
3, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
it was
one
of those two until like last cycle, on last Marionette cycle. So there's that.
Actually, I'm just gonna post it in the group chat instead of here. Bang.
Bang.
I'll have to review it and share it.
Yeah, I was given that link by Last Order, and he was like, "Are you doing this?" And I'm like, "Holy shit, I'm not doing that."
Do you think the buffs are really shilled towards if you do not have a Void Hunter sort of thing? Because that's what I've sort of noticed a little bit. Like a lot of them are shilled like you want to have a Void Hunter in each one.
Yeah, so this patch is particularly interesting because now we have 3 Void Hunter / semantically Void Hunter level agents that are just like the strongest like cream of the crop for each of the main damage archetypes. And so in coming to question about like does each buff necessarily shill the Void Hunters, I have to go with no, but I do also think like, and I've talked about this on like Kete released a video recently about like the developers and their sabotage mentality for Miyabi in terms of mechanics, and like I agree with a good bit of the video, but I also have like my own kind of axial perspective on how to perceive agent power, and that is that I think mechanically speaking, the Void Hunters are able to utilize more mechanics, like more aspects of any given buff, or otherwise will be able to counter any debuffs from bosses or like, you know, mechanical challenges from bosses better than the rest of the roster is overall. And that's where their versatility and like, you know, general preference and power comes from, even in unlike unfavorable situations where it's like, you know, say in the situation where you're choosing to use Miyabi into like season 2 content where, you know, you can't freeze enemies and you can't like you know, extend stun, or you just generally like lose out on anomaly damage because of clauses like Defiler or Primordial Nightmare, you're still like, in terms of general power, like if you don't have that investment for the other team that would be mechanically better, or otherwise like the team that's being shilled on like Banner, and the focus energy is a, you know, good buff for incentivizing pulling Ye Guang and Zhao and using them, but that's not a buff that's going to last forever. But in that situation where you don't have that option, like I feel like more players are going to lean to trying to use Miyabi in unfavorable situations and will still do fine. But it lends to the point that when you consider like that aspect of versatility and the Void Hunter agents overall, I don't think the buffs are necessarily always catered to them. Like I think Harnessing Change is not great for Yixuan just because it has an ultimate damage increase buff, because the second part of the clause is attack increase, which is not good scaling for Rupture agents. The stun damage multiplier is, you know, whatever, it's pretty good for every agent overall, but that's not Rupture specific either in that regard. Focus Energy is a good attack increase and stun damage increase, but the Ether Veil clause makes it better for Ye Guang than every other agent, simply because it's, you know, Ether Veil and Zhao. So in Ye Guang Zhao specifically, or like, people may not remember this, but Ye Guang does activate her own Ether Veil when she goes into Enlightened Mind state. So that is active during Ye Guang's Enlightened Mind state, and if you're playing her right, then you're getting a good amount of benefit from that as well. And Focus Energy is a good shill for Ye Guang specifically. Mutation, and I mentioned this before, with the second stage buff on Shiyu. I think the second clause having the like long duration that it does, which lasts longer than every other not like default anomaly timer, if you're getting disorders within 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever, then you're getting the full benefit of the buff, regardless of the anomaly agent that you're using. So I don't think mutation is a Miyabi shield buff. So
I actually think it
overall,
is. You know why?
Okay, why?
The Miyabi shield buffs are actually good.
Okay.
Miyabi shield buffs are?
The mutation and graceful mastery.
I guess mutation, the mutation, graceful mastery, and spirit break. All three of these buffs are insanely OP for a lot of fucking characters. You know it's Miyabi shield because it's actually good for like multiple characters.
Okay. But like yeah, so like I think in terms of like how much it benefits one agent versus more of the roster, or like, you know, how much it benefits using a specific team over just benefiting agents for the sake of benefiting agents. Like, I think Focus Energy is the most shield buff, and that's not a surprise because Yeshongong is on banner right now. But I don't think Harnessing Change or Mutation are as good of shield buffs, or not even close.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Focus Energy has the highest ceiling, but the ceiling is locked behind Ether Veil. But when you're talking as a generalist buff, it is kind of the only one you really want to use, unless you can route anomalies in a weird way, or you have a lot of ults coming in from buff 3, which is generally only going to happen with Dial-In, which actually makes it less accessible than Focused Energy for most units. Yeah. An example I can bring up is Hugo's old team, Hugo Lighter Lycon. I played that into Mario a little bit, and I've actually had the best results from Mutation and Focus Energy. Despite Mutation not having the best uptime, and Focus Energy not getting the extra second half of the buff with Ether Veil, because Harnessing Change just kind of sucks without Dial-In. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Because all you're getting is 35 multiplier, that's it. Unless you start every combo with Ultimate, which isn't going to happen without Dial-In. It's just not going to. So, like, it's technically the least shield on paper, but when you look at the actual flexibility of it and how good it is in practice, I think it's technically the most shield just because it kind of sucks.
Yeah. Like,
so I guess it depends on how you look at it.
That's just my perspective and how I look at it. Like, I look at Mutation as an extremely good generalist buff.
The ceiling.
And just overall. I've used Harnessing Change for a couple of my runs without Dial-In, but I think Mutation is just overall better without Dial-In. And in that case, it makes it more of a Dial-In show than like specifically a Yishuan show, since the topic was originally about like
I don't think it's Yishuan show at
all. Void Hunters.
Like, it works for her, but I don't think it's that good.
So that's my perspective.
Yep.
I only say that because my main best scores were with the Void Hunters on this one, but then again, the enemies did sort of favor that.
Yeah,
that's also not a surprise. The bosses are very much the like Void Hunter incentives, like more than the buffs. Like the Filer.
The Filer was technically Seed Shield, but Seed sucks. So the best scoring characters here are Yeshun Guang and Sambi.
Yeah, I didn't say all that.
For Marionette, I mean, obviously Miyabi, or also Yeshun Guang, because, you know, shill. And then Priest, it's still Yushuan is the best option into it, because the only Ether DPS we have are her and Jiyuan. And I guess Hyper Vivian, but Hyper Vivian is not real unless you are doing funny things. So it's kind of just like, yeah, they are incentivizing you to play these title characters. I like to call them title characters instead of two Void Hunters and the random jobber. So, because you don't have a title, right? Like Grandmaster and then Void Hunter. And I think if they sort of off topic, I think if they like make more of these characters, they don't have to always be a Void Hunter. They can make them some kind of fancy title. So I like to call them title characters. But yeah, just the bosses line up for that more than the buffs, in my opinion.
So good way to look at it. I'm gonna adopt that immediately.
Yeah, title character. I've been using it for a while, but I don't use it often because I don't really like talking about Yushuan.
If you haven't watched the Yishuan R2 video, go watch it. It's a great video.
It is pretty funny.
will say that, like, a slight aside, I do overall, like, I did like this story in this patch, this chapter story. Made me like Yuxuan's character a fair bit more than before. Not because they, like, fixed any of her biggest problems in terms of the storytelling, but it was, like, they, like, have a foundation there. Like, it does fix a fair bit of, like, what happened, but it's, like, whether you call that lazy storytelling or just, like, kind of convenient, it's, you know, it's an excuse, and it makes logical sense when you, like, really think about it. She's like,
I haven't done it, so I have no idea what you're on about, but, like, I believe you.
I'll believe you too, because
like,
I haven't done the story either. We are
why
lazy people.
Am I the only person who comes to these podcasts completely prepared to talk about everything? It
That's
doesn't
not a
make
topic on
sense.
the podcast, so you're actually overprepared, and you're wasting your time. True. I'm waiting for the voice lines to move forward, if I'm not fully out yet, apparently. Anyhow. I'm gonna quickly go over my opinions on the bosses, because I didn't earlier. But I think this is one of the worst DA lineups in a while, and not necessarily because it's difficult. I think it's actually pretty easy to score, just in general. My Horomasa can 50k every boss on this rotation, which that's usually like my gauge. Like, how easy can Horomasa get 150k total? That's like how easy it is. My issue is the RNG to these fights is absurd. You have the 3 most RNG heavy fights in the game, all in the same lineup. Debatably, maybe like Hunter is that bad as well, but Defiler, if you want to get a good score on Defiler with any crit team, so, you know, a good score in general, you really want to have the fight open with a spin attack, or like as soon as possible, and if it doesn't, you just reset. Another thing, if she spins twice, you also reset, because that wastes time. She can only spin once at the very beginning. And then there's also weird shit with the soldier summoning. She can summon a little soldier, like the little guy is, that shoot you. And that can happen right before you enter stun, and what that does is that it makes your characters take damage during the stun window, which will either stagger them, or if they tank it, will significantly slow down the game because of hit lag. And that will lose you at least 2 seconds of your stun window, because the game said fuck you. In addition to that, there's also a lot of bugs with Defiler. Sometimes the blade, like, sequence will decide to just not work. That's not really RNG, that's just the game being fully coded, though.
Getting stuck
then on top of that,
only to die.
The other things are just general Defiler like issues, like people don't like Defiler because of, I don't know, stall phases or just in general annoying boss. But that's always been the case. So I don't really like Defiler for that reason. It's just a lot of resets and not a lot of fun. Marionette is as bad or worse. I think it's not as bad as Defiler personally, but some people do think that it is worse. With Marionette, like we mentioned earlier, the clones are a big thing that you want. But they're not the only thing that you actually want in a fight. There is a lot of attacks that are just really bad for Marionette. Certain teams want to get the evasive only attack where they spin and shoot projectiles, but certain teams don't. For example, if you're doing a mono ice run, you actually want it to get some like Sukaku energy and build up at the beginning. But for other teams, it sucks. It's no parry. And then, I'm sure everyone knows it, but there's the infamous quadruple parry attack where Marionette lunges forward and you get 4 parries, you get stuck doing nothing for like 3 seconds. Yeah, that one's not great either. And on top of that, if you're playing an anomaly team, which you very likely are, given the incredibly good buff on this, there is the one attack as well where Marionette just can't have anomaly afflicted to it for some reason during the animation. And if that happens during a bad time, you lose your disorder, you lose your damage, and then sometimes Run is just dead if you're playing the Abe, because you need the EBH from those tags. And then on top of that, this boss is really bad dodge detection on some clones. I don't know if it's because the enemy is small or like thin hitbox or something, but what will happen a lot is that you'll like dodge the clone, like you'll get out of the way, you'll iframe it, but the game won't register a perfect dodge, so you just like awkwardly get a dash attack. And that sometimes doesn't kill the clone, and then, well, GG's, there goes your 1 second in stun, there goes your however many points from performance, and there goes your stage buff.
I have noticed that a fair bit playing Marionettes this cycle. Like, it's been happening more than like before, but I don't think anything changed. It's just a problem I've been having.
The dodge thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen this in like since the beginning, but it's very annoying whenever it comes up. Like I don't get it all the time, but whenever it comes up, I'm like, fuck. And Priest, I don't know how you like this boss. I kind of used to like it, and then I played it more, and then it's like, ooh, I don't like this at all anymore.
It's like, I just really, I don't know. I think the way that it like cues its attacks is very unique and creative, and I've like, you know, in it has its problems overall. Like obviously, I'm not saying it's a perfect boss by any means by it being my favorite boss, and like
that's
the random block that has no telegraph and then just loses you 2 seconds of your time and like 50 days.
Usually lasts longer.
Like if you like register it quickly and then back away, then like it's like it cancels itself, but it can last up to like 4, and it's really annoying.
Yeah.
But there is that attack, and then there's like
the long wind up.
The long wind up one happens
a
lot, and like sometimes I also like sometimes need because I have like different ways to play the miasma phase compared to like with different teams. So sometimes I don't get all opportunities for performance points with the big like purple slashes in the miasma. So I need an extra like short flurry in order to get an impair. And sometimes the priest will do 2 attacks in that short flurry, and then sometimes it'll do 4. And I'm like, why does it do that?
They're different strengths entirely. I can kind of tell them apart, but there's nothing you can do about it. Like you just get the bad one or the good one. There's no counterplay if you get the bad one. You just got it.
Like it's
actually 2 bad ones, but they're a bit different.
It's just kind of bad overall for like the RNG aspect, but like I do just like the boss more thematically than like, you know, mechanically without that RNG factor.
Yeah. So I wanted to hear you out for a little bit there. Now I'm going to get to why this boss is dog shit. I haven't talked about it yet. So yeah, it's very similar to Defiler. You want to get a lot of parries on Priest to get the state buff up. But a lot of attacks aren't good for that. We mentioned earlier, the block just randomly happened and it sucks. You get no anomaly build up, you get no daze, you get no damage, nothing. There's also the long wind-up blade attack, which doesn't give you like a parry or anything. It just takes really long and you can't do much while you're waiting, unless you're playing Monato, I guess. Then there's also the cross slash attack, which also gives you no parry and takes an annoying amount of time. And then there's a little mini flurries. There's 3 of these. You have the full flurry, which lets you force swap into characters that are still on field, which is the best one. You can always get 4 parries out of that one. There's the bad one. I'm gonna call them bad 1A and bad 1B. Bad 1A is slower, and then it has one of 2 follow-ups, A or B. Follow-up A is evasive only, follow-up B is a melee attack. But something to note about this flurry, it's not like the good one. It doesn't force your characters back on field if they still are for a parry. So if you don't recognize the difference in animation, which is very subtle, it's like some arm movement thing, you're gonna have characters still on field because they did a follow-up or something, and you lose your impair because of that if you got the good one of the bad ones. And it sucks. It's so many layers of RNG on a fight that could be cool. But then it gets even worse. You know, you finally get all the bullshit aside, you get into stun 2, you finish stun 2, whatever, and now miasma starts. There is the very first attack in miasma, where you get between 2 and 4 lunge attacks. And there's some really cool tech you can do here. I did this in grand finals of a PvP tournament where I did some double countering tech, and you can break the miasma shield really fucking fast. And it's so cool when you do it. But you need 3 lunges at least for that. And if you only get 2 lunges, a very weird, I'm gonna call it bug, happens, where you get double miasma. Priest will just completely reset, start miasma from the beginning, do the whole like chant thing again, and start doing lunges again like nothing happened.
What?
This will lose you at least 15 seconds if you stick to the whole thing again, or just completely lose all the parries because you've done a lot of miasma damage already. I don't know what causes this. I've gotten it a few times lately. I didn't have it happen to me ever until a few days ago, and I had it 5 times in the same session. And then other people also get it now.
I gotta be real. I gotta go watch your VOD. I don't know what happened. I've never heard of that.
And I had it so many times, and it's an instant death run because again, you either lose 15 seconds and you don't get your stun 4, or you just take the you don't take time loss, but you lose like 10 parries, or at least 3 parries, because Master just breaks. Like, you've done so much damage already, and it's so bad. And then, let's say you get past all those gates of hell / RNG, and then you're getting ready for stun 4. It's the worst part of the run. Because here, you have time for maybe 3 or 4 attacks, depending on how fast you played the first half of the run. And if 2 of those aren't good flurries, or at least bad flurries with good follow-ups, the run's just dead, because you're not going to get... Or like, a good run would be dead there, because you need to get a Decibel ult and last stun, while still being in time for the whole stun window. And the RNG needed for the whole run to go perfectly is so much. Like, there's so many layers of bullshit on horse shit, on donkey shit, on dog shit. That's just nah. I can't. I actually can't. I have a 52 KPB with Haru on this boss, and it could be like 55 if everything went right. I just don't want to play that, man. It's just not fun. It's really not.
Yeah.
So,
I can definitely see that, and I will also corroborate it with like the general RNG aspect. One of the tournaments that I was playing focused around like needing to do a no reset run of all 3 bosses for the submission, and I cannot tell you how many times I was like resetting to play a good Yuzu Ice run into Marionettes for like hours straight, only to get like 5 or so like 50k attempts just to get the like go into the next run into Priest and then not get 4 stuns because of bad RNG. And
how do you like this? Like you did that. How is this still your favorite boss? I find that so crazy. Like everything that's bad about it, but you say it's your favorite one.
I say it's my favorite one because I like fighting it when I am not forced into that situation of like
you're like lucky
forced RNG, but also like I generally like more like I like it more for like how mechanically interesting it is without that RNG factor. And like if I'm resetting on it a lot, then like pooey whatever. I do play the boss a lot, and I've run into that problem, and it is what it is. But I also like I don't know. I played it a lot when I was doing my like guide all that time ago, and I just like playing it for like with a bunch of teams. It looks good. It's a decent like boss. Maybe it's more presentation than actual mechanics.
I like
but
the sword.
I don't know.
It looks kind of cool.
I like it. I can't really say. I can't really like just say I don't. I just like it.
But yeah, because of all the reasons I listed, I think this is the most RNG heavy DA ever, and because of that, I don't like it. It's what made me kill Bringer 12 times in a row. Like, I needed a consistency break. I needed something, even if it's harder. I just like consistency. That's why I like
Completely fair.
not exactly the same, but I like Donut Skip on Notorious Pompey. There is some RNG involved, but if you're really good at the manip, you can kind of get it consistently, or somewhat consistently. And I love difficult strats that are like really hard. But if you have a good understanding, you can get it fairly consistently. That's what I like about this game. That's why I like no Handbringer. That's why I did it so many times. But then when I play something like this, it's like the opposite. Like no amount of skill is going to get you an amazing run if you just don't get the good luck. You need both. And I just don't. I CBA sometimes.
That's completely fair.
Yeah. Holy tangent.
That was a good one.
it's talking about Deadly Assault. We did it.
We did it. Let's move to our off topic of the gifting agents that Hoyle is gladly generous of doing so.
Aloy from Genshin.
Do you think there's a big difference between the Haramasha and the Zhao gift, as in like between like how generous Hoyle was with these characters builds?
Well, that depends on what you mean by generous, because I think Haramasa like came out at a time, and timing is important here because it's been Now
Keep it here in a
two
month.
major title character patches and a year and a month, so like about, both halfway into their seasons respectively. Season 1 midway through and season 2. Like it's timing is important and key, and considering like what the narrative, I guess, on like what the soft relaunch is, I guess, because a lot of the things with Zenless back in 1.4 was about the game getting the quote soft relaunch, but also presenting Miyabi with the hype that she had in mind as like the most anticipated character in the game, bar none. And with giving Haramasa out for free at that point, it gave new players who were getting into the game for the first time a consistent and sustainable DPS who was like a good flexible option for teams, like if they were to continue playing the game after that point. Admittedly hard to learn at the time, because the game was also facing a identity shift, in my opinion, and I stand on this.
Even now, it's hard to learn, honestly.
Where it's like the game was definitely not as like it was like definitely way easier back then, and that's like for sure a thing. But it was also brought upon with a ton of fundamental changes to the game itself, and very specifically the decibel change, which changed how players would play the game forever. And in adapting to that new situation, I think the generosity of having like Haramasa on your account like feels like a bit of a godsend, in my opinion, because it's like if you're like, even if you're like a 1.0 player, if you like didn't pull one of the early DPSs, or you missed out on Yanagi and therefore didn't have Miyabi's best in slot team, you kind of had something to fall back on, and like he was very sustainable for the time that it was present, and like stayed relevant for a fair bit. So it was definitely a like good thing to have for a free character. When it comes to Zhao, I think I have had my gripes overall with the presentation of Ether Veil as another move tag in lieu of Aftershock. And like I feel this is a problem that will disappear with time as more Ether Veil characters come up. But given how it took Aftershock to like kind of smooth itself out and become stable for the entirety of the cast, I think Zhao is good for giving that foundation to Ether Veil Wellspring. The problem is that there are future Ether Veils that like they're going to use that will either come out and like not be like a properly stackable like move with that, or like buff effect, or it'll still retain that you're going to use Ether Veil with mostly Rupture agents. And I think Zhao came at a very weird time for the game dynamics overall, despite the fact that she is, as of this recording, the best in slot teammate for Ye Xiongguang. We're like moving back from a Rupture focused meta back to attackers and such. Like the timing just felt a little strange, I guess. Like it's not that it's not generous, because I think outside of being Ye Xiongguang's best teammate, if you don't have Ye Xiongguang, then she is a very, very, very good generalist support to have completely for free. Like, a like nearly on par with Astra without her signature, and completely on par with Astra with her signature. if you decide to invest the pulls into it, which if you're a new player, you're probably not doing. But regardless, like it opens the option to have access to that moveset, even if it's not going to benefit most of the roster for a little while longer. And it's going to depend on how much of that comes to fruition in the next couple of patches, right? Because if it turns out that Zhao having Ether Veil properties doesn't matter as much for attackers or Anomaly, although like people can definitely make guesses with what's going to happen with Chinatsu being the next Anomaly support. Like if it's not going to be super relevant for a majority of the roster outside of Rupture, then Zhao and by extension Chinatsu are going to feel out of place. But if it comes to the point where enough Ether Veil or like implementation of Ether Veil is going to be more prominent for at least the rest of the season, then Zhao is going to be another godsend. So I think it's a little too early to tell, but like the timing currently just feels a little strange with how unstable Ether Veil is.
By Chinatsu, you mean Suna, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't acknowledge that name.
Oh, okay.
You used it not long ago. Like about an hour ago, you used it, but alright.
I get it now. What I like about the fact that these were gifts were good was because the builds for these characters are very much wide ranged. You can do many different disc sets for each one, so it's very much a playstyle friendly for people who like to build characters.
Like I think that's true for Harumasa. I don't think that's as true for Zhao. I think like it and that okay. Actually, I do think it's fairly true for Zhao, but Zhao has an interesting problem where she doesn't have a good usable disc set for piece for her best in slot team, but she has a good disc set for every other team that does not revolve around said DPS best in slot. That being Yeshongguang. Where it's like if you're using Yeshongguang, you like will barely get benefit out of either Astral Voice or Protopunk, and those two are the only sets that you'll actually use on Zhao if you're not using her as a DPS. Whereas you're going to get much more benefit out of those sets from having Zhao on not Yeshongguang teams. So it's an interesting problem to have, but yeah, it's a kind of a asterisk to the point.
I think I found Protobunk to be a little bit better than Astro Voice. At least when I was going against a filer, a couple times I was able to parry more and got the RNG better with Protopunk better.
I think it's more consistent overall because you don't like, even though her defensive assist gives you a quick assist, you don't want to use it most of the time because it's pretty long, so it wastes a lot of time. I think Protopunk is just the safer, more consistent option.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using Astral. I find it to be pretty fine to keep up. She has a pretty instant quick assist when the bar is full or with EX, so I'll do like a weird double-triple swap in stun to just refresh it, like with an Naru combo. Like say I'm doing dash 1 2 3 2 3. On dash 3, I switch back, like I do like this. So I switch to Zhao, switch to Harumasa, switch to dial in, trigger chain, and then I'm back on Haru within like 30 frames. And it feels very cool to do. It's not very easy to do though, without losing time. But I think
Thank you for demonstrating that with your keyboard.
It's for like the speed of the input, I mean, but it's cool. I've just been getting more success with Astral, personally, but I don't think M6 Zhao changes anything, because it's not like she gets more energy or more quick assists from Mindscapes. But that's just what I personally have more success with. But as for the earlier question about 20 minutes ago, not actually, comparing like Harumasa and Zhao, I think it's kind of even like valued looking at when they released. Because when Harumasa released, we had like 5 DPSs on. Oh no, we had like 7 DPSs in the game, I think, something like that, that were relevant.
Yeah.
Haramasa was definitely either. I think he was top 3 when it came out. You can say he's top 4. Because top 1 was obviously Miyabi, second was Yanagi, and then third was just a toss-up between Ju and Haramasa, which did like the exact same damage. So I think back then there wasn't that much you could play like in terms of DPSs. There was a lot of A rank mains still around back then. There just wasn't many options. So giving Haramasa to everyone as a pretty good DPS when it came out is great. Especially because even nowadays Haramasa is very flexible when it comes to supports, and I guess stunners as well. He kind of doesn't really care as long as it kind of lets him do his like what he wants to do. So he's really nice in that regard. He doesn't have like a very clear best in slot that is way better than everything else besides like I guess Stylen, but that's just Stylen for every character. But obviously Stylen wasn't a thing back then. I think it's very nice to give that to players. But now with Zhao, there's a lot more DPSs to go around. Like almost everyone, unless you're really new to the game, they have multiple options. And Zhao, even if you don't care for Shunwang at all, will give you some supporting power for those options that you have now. So I don't know if you had issues like juggling around Astra or the Nicole or whatever the hell, you now have a Zhao to go around as well, which gives very similar buffs. And lets you access Ether Veil Shield on basically any character whenever you want, whenever that's on a stage, like I'm doing right now for Shiyu 1. So I think, according to time of release, they give similar levels of value. Obviously, they're completely different characters. Haramasa is, I think, still the hardest character in the game. And he's a DPS, where Zhao is support. That is extremely easy to use. So, very different characters in that regard. But I think, in terms of value, in relation to their time of release, they're very similar. But they offer different things. But different things were needed at different points in time. That's kind of what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah. I think they were both.
I have both, so.
Yep.
I like both.
I've seen you with both. You do play really well with them. I'm just glad that they were gifted as they are. Their agent builds and their skill sets are definitely what a good free-to-play agent is to give to the game.
I guess the thing with Haru is that because he's so difficult, most people didn't bother like trying to play him, or like they tried and then failed, which is kind of the fault of this game's like tutorial systems being terrible. But obviously Haramasa not being very easy to use and him having a massive DPS like difference between a good combo and a bad combo is gonna drive some people away from playing him. I do still think like for the people that were willing to get him, learn him, he definitely gained a lot for like a few patches because he was very strong still until like when Sambi just came out, right? Sambi first half, so we didn't have Trigger yet. Into Sambi Shield Shiyu, Haramasa had either the same clears or slightly faster. Obviously now he's worse, he's significantly worse now because Sambi has been buffed twice. Trigger came out, Orphe came out, so there's been a billion Sambi buffs and very little Haru buffs. But Haru in general, this was a fairly competitive unit for quite a while before he eventually fell off to just better characters coming out.
Yeah. I generally agree with that.
I think with that, we'll end the podcast. R2, where can we find you?
In my house. But don't come here. I will shoot you. Actually, you can't legally own firearms in Austria, as far as I'm aware. But you can find me on my YouTube channel. That will hopefully be linked in the description. I do mostly endgame clears. Sometimes I stream and do funny things. So, or if you just like listening to my voice, that's cool too. So,
it is a very nice voice.
Pog.
You're so sweet, Savadro. What about you?
I stream mostly on Twitch at twitch.tv/Savadra, and I sometimes upload videos to YouTube at youtube.com/@Savadra. I play Zenless a good lot, and I'm also starting to speedrun Celeste again, which was my former glory before playing Zenless. But I am getting back into that as I have just wanted to start speedrunning again. But I'm at my core, I'm a pretty sweaty player who just uploads sometimes.
Are you streaming those Celeste runs, by the way? I'd love to watch them.
Yeah, I'm streaming my learning process for the like relearning process, I guess, on my Twitch. So if anything like that interests you, then come say hi. I do that sometimes. I think it's like super late for you overall, R2, because like I'm like most of the time I'm streaming during the weekdays when I get home from work, and I get home from work at like 11 EST.
Like, wake up at like 5. I can see them. I'll follow anyway. I don't think I am. Oh no, I am followed. Okay, just wasn't sure.
It's like similarly like your streams. I tend to catch some parts of your streams when I like just wake up, when I'm like about to go to work. What about you, Softy?
You can find me mostly on YouTube. I do DA runs with the twist, and I do sometimes some streaming. So, otherwise, you guys all take care and have a good one.
Yep.
Thanks for listening. You take care.
Everyone, especially me though.